Good afternoon and welcome to episode 6 of Voices of Vahani. I'm Vani Barmula, a Master's Vahani scholar currently pursuing clinical psychology from Amity University, Noida. It is a delight to be today's host. Voices of Vahani is a series that commemorates the resilient journey as scholars, the dynamic lives as alumni, and the invaluable perspectives of our mentors and tutors that have been with us throughout this journey that we've taken. With each episode, we pause, learn, and reflect on all these diverse perspectives. In conversation with us today, we have Dr. Bhavna Barmi, who has been with Vahani as a board member. She has 25 years of work experience in the field of clinical psychology. Across her career, she has worked as a therapist, as a supervisor, as a trainer, and above all, a mental health advocate. She is bringing psychological insights into classrooms, clinics, and above all, public forums. Moving seamlessly between clinical rigor and accessible dialogues, the breadth of her engagement portrays the depth of her commitment to her work as mental health awareness advocate. This conversation holds special significance for me as I've had the opportunity of interning with her, an experience that profoundly impacts the way I look at the field and the practice of clinical psychology.
God bless you, Vani.
We have with us Dr. Bhavna Barmi.
Very good evening.
So for this conversation, we'll be asking her questions from her experience as a board member at Vahani. The first question is, ma'am, how did your journey with Vahani begin? And how has your experience been so far?
You know, the value of education has always been paramount on my list of top priorities for anyone and everyone. And when Riva shared the thought of wanting to provide education to the not so privileged, it was nothing but a big yes for me. Also, what I truly valued was Vahani's holistic approach, where it was not just scholarships, but creating a supportive community, mentoring each scholar, and the personal growth, with additional focus on mental and emotional well-being, which is so different from all the other esteemed scholarships that are moving around in the world today.
Since ma'am has been with us since the inception of the organization, I want to know, how do you feel Vahani has evolved over the years?
You know, I think Vahani has evolved not only in numbers, but also it has grown in scale. It has allowed the students to benefit from many programs. It has structured programs, especially one of the special ones for me is the structuring of the mental health services for our Vahani students, which is aligning the WHO recommendation for integrating mental health into the youth education system. It has very strong leadership training programs to ensure that scholars not just academically succeed, but also are socially impactful. Language and communication programs are very paramount, and a shift towards the alumni-led mentoring with research also shows that there is an increased connect for motivation through peer modeling has been some of the wonderful things that Vahani has grown over these many years.
Ma'am, you've been a mentor for so many Vahani scholars. So in your interactions with Vahani scholars, what are the values that have stood out to you about Vahani scholars as individuals?
I think some of the very beautiful values start with resilience. Resilience is the ability to navigate systematically into barriers while pursuing academic excellence. Another one is gratitude and humility, often linked to higher life satisfaction and pro-social behavior. I have also seen a value of empathy because many scholars express a strong desire to help each other as they come from similar backgrounds or different ones as well. Very importantly, Vani, I've seen curiosity and the openness to learning, which are actually predictors of lifelong adaptability. And importantly, self-discipline. critical for achieving long-term academic as well as career growth. So I think that these kind of values that each Vahani scholar keeps building in and instilling into each other, life can nothing be but be very, very fulfilling for each of them.
That is high praise coming from you, ma'am. What do you think Vahani as a journey or as a scholarship? What are the strengths and values that they inculcate in a scholar? Like these strengths they have maybe nascent levels of them, but as they cross Vahani, what are these strengths that a scholar ends up developing?
I think the key capacities and strengths that a Vahani scholar has are so many. I would say with the first one being self-efficacy, the belief in one's own ability which directly impacts performance. Another one is leadership skills. Through mentorship, public speaking and group projects, all this keeps getting only better and better, along with emotional well-being, strength and regulation, which I think I also through my own mental health interactions with our scholars have only seen it making them more mature, more stronger. I think another key capacity is the communication proficiency, along with critical thinking and problem solving, which has developed through a lot of these leadership and other programs that they keep going through. And then, like I said, resilience is something that enables each Vahani scholar to bounce back through any adversity, any challenge.
Can you give us more detail on, as an advocate of mental health, how do you see mental health initiatives complementing or enhancing the already existing leadership skills or other initiatives that are working at right now in Vahani?
See, I think mental health complements both academic as well as leadership initiatives. Mental health support ensures that emotional barriers do not undermine any kind of performance. And this is backed by APA findings linking mental health with educational achievements and leadership. Counseling fosters self-awareness, which enhances leadership and decision-making. Emotional literacy training strengthens interpersonal communication, which is again vital for team leadership and growth. Support groups that we've all created also create a safe space for vulnerability, for building trust and peer cohesion. So a lot of these things, including stress management skills and the very many things that come with mental health support, bring about some kind of a strength, a conviction that only enables each of our Vahani scholar to grow and grow and grow.
Yes, ma'am. I can definitely vouch for that, because there have been, as a scholar of psychology, there have been times where I've realized that what I'm reading is what I'm also implementing in life, and that has helped me academically and in other spheres also.
I'm so glad, and you are so good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, as it is a vision of Vahani to build future leaders, to make change makers, so what, according to you, is leadership or the skill that is necessary to be the change of tomorrow?
I would say for me, empathetic leadership is number one, because leaders who understand and address community needs do very well. Also, empathetic leaders are leaders that create more leaders. And that is exactly in sync with the vision that Vahani has. That if I am a leader, then I should instill such leadership that I'm able to create more and more leaders around me and with me. I think another thing is ethical decision making rooted in integrity and transparency. Because our future leaders at Vahani do have a lot of adaptive thinking essential for this rapidly changing socio-economic era that all of us are in. Collaborative work, problem solving, not just top-down authority, is actually what every Vahani scholar should venture into by becoming a leader.
So, from your experience, like you talked about it earlier also, but can you expand on the role of emotional resilience as it plays role in leadership and in other spheres of life also?
I would say that I think emotional resilience is very important because resilience helps leaders recover from setbacks without losing motivation. Emotional stability supports consistent decision making, especially under pressure or challenges. I think self awareness and emotional regulations improves team relationships, which again is directly proportional to any form of leadership that we instill in ourselves.
That feels like a very powerful message out here. I hope all the scholars and whoever is listening is paying attention to all these messages that Dr. Bhavna is dropping by. Venturing on to the culture of Vahani, I wanted all the scholars call it Vahani family, but I wanted to hear from you from the beginning to date. What has the culture of Vahani felt like to you as an individual, as a mentor?
I entered Vahani feeling a part of this family because each person you interacted with is an extension of you, because everything that they come to forth is something that you want to instill, and that is the power that Vahani scholars have in the lives of each one of us. I think the family is beautiful because it has a culture of belonging. No one in Vahani feels left out, regardless of the background. Here we have a mutual trust and care essential for psychological safety. There is a shared belief in education as a tool of empowerment, where the family celebrates both personal and academic milestones. Mentorship is actually the key cornerstone, and that feels like guidance from a trusted elder along with you. And I think it builds up a community which provides unconditional giving, which again is so much a part of the family culture that we all like to imbibe in ourselves.
So, going forward with the community question, what do you, as a clinical psychologist or as a therapist, how do you feel this relationship between scholars, mentors, and alumni, and everybody in Vahani? How do they help each other, or how do they add to the general morale of the community?
I already said this, Vani, that when I entered into Vahani, it was like the scholars embracing me into their family, which was very, very powerful. Because I think what Vahani creates as far as a community is that it creates a cycle of mentorship where each generation supports the next. It is very, very powerful because whether it is the scholar, whether it is the alumni, they create and provide very, very relatable role models, enhancing motivation at all levels. I think cross-generational ties strengthen this community more than anything else. And of course, the culture of the family.
And going on to this culture of family thing, I don't know. I mean, the recent scholars maybe do not know this, but when we began in 2016, Maya ma'am is no longer with us, but she's always there with us in our hearts. So she brought us this cake, and it felt like this celebration of being together. More than a scholarship, it felt like being embraced into a family. So I think for all the 2016 batch scholars and other scholars who had the opportunity of seeing her, you would know that she, wherever she is, God be with her. She is blessing us with this family spirit all over again. Commemorating all of this, can you sum up your experience of Vahani? Like we've talked about it in the previous questions also, but outside of you as a Vahani member, as a clinical psychologist, and all that different parts of you, how does all of it integrate into feeling about Vahani?
Let me hold your hand. And I must say that Vahani is a transformational journey that nurtures both intellect and character with a holistic support system, academic, emotional, social, professional, filled with nothing but affection and guidance. So that is how I would just summarize the beauty of Vahani, because it definitely is not just a scholarship. It is a journey. It is a journey of unconditional support to each other.
Okay, that has been a lot of conversation around Vahani, around emotional resilience and everything ma'am has been working on. Now we've had this small window of asking her questions, and it's going to be a rapid fire. So let's hear what she has to say on the point.
I thought I will get some time to ask questions. I should do the rapid fire.
You have so much information, so much knowledge of these 25 years. You must impart some of that to us.
Always, anytime. But I must tell you that a lot of this knowledge is coming from my learnings from each one of you, including you, Vahani.
Thank you, ma'am. So, my first question is, over the 25 years that you've spent as a clinical practitioner, what is the one word that you describe psychology with?
Empathy.
What is the one habit or exercise that you do daily to keep yourself grounded?
I like to bring a smile to someone's life. And that someone need not be somebody I know. So as a habit of grounding, as a part of unconditional giving, I try and see that my day only gets completed when I have been able to bring a smile onto any person's life who I have not known.
A book that has recently or has influenced you throughout your journey so far?
I think there are very many books, but one of the books that I would like to give credit to is the book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It talks about affirmations. It talks about the fact that life is nothing but a mirror image of what you think and what you feel. And exactly what you think and feel is going to come back to you. So it gives the power of affirmations a very strong, deep meaning, not only at the conscious level, but also at the subconscious level.
What is the one skill that you feel everybody should build in our present times or otherwise?
I think emotional intelligence.
Spoken like a true clinical practitioner of mental health. And last but most importantly, one piece of advice that you'd like to give to all the listeners or all the scholars that are currently involved.
I would say deal with problems when they are small. Don't let mountains be made out of moles. And whenever a problem, challenge, crisis comes in your life, move out of that problem zone. Move out of that problem zone and move into the solution zone. Sometimes you yourself are adequate to get many, many solutions and alternatives for yourself. Sometimes you can reach out. You can reach out to your peers, you can reach out to your mentors, you can reach out to counselors and professionals who would be there to guide you. It is okay not to know, but it is not okay to continue not knowing. So reaching out is always a step ahead into your solution zone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bhavna. It has been a delightful conversation. I knew I was in for a delightful conversation.
Absolutely, and it resonates completely because you were here.
Thank you.
Thank you.